Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Lakers got a feel-good win tonight at Crypto.com Arena against the Washington Wizards. 119-117. Came down to the wire there. Real good game to watch in terms of just knowing that your team is undermanned, seeing guys go down with injuries in the game, and then seeing them fight back. There was a lot of that going on. Had some surprises because we had no idea Bradley Beal was going to play, man. I had no earthly idea he was going to suit it up, and he was out there shooting the ball, getting to the line a bunch of times, doing Bradley Beal stuff, completely throwing a monkey wrench in what we thought we would see. But all in all, our Lakers took care of business. Shot 50% from the field, 40% from the three, hitting 11 3-point shots. LeBron James had 33 points. I think it was like 9 assists, 7 rebounds or something like that. Very, very nice. 13 from 24 shooting. We had a good night from just about every man out there. Thomas Bryant, I think it was like 19 and 10, a double-double out there. He was fantastic as usual. Got the game-winning dunk, some fantastic plays. We saw a real nice game from Damian Jones with the minutes given. Guys were doing a fantastic job finding him, lobbing him the ball, and he just played great with his minutes. Max Christie hit a bunch of shots, got some rebounds for our team. The stats didn't tell the story. He was so much more helpful than the stats really tells you. He had like 9 points, I think like 3 boards. It felt like 18 points, 7 boards. I mean, he was really, really making himself just active and doing everything he needed to do, trying his best to guard Bradley Beal and stuff like that. He was doing great. Even though Bradley was still cooking him, it didn't matter. The kid was keeping up with him, and you could clearly see why I said I felt he was the best person to put on Jaylen Brown a couple nights ago. Because he is. He's actually our best bet in terms of matching up against some of these guys. And as he continues to get stronger, he's going to make it harder for them. You figure this is him without even having a couple years in his career in a workout gym. This is him as a rookie, and he did a fantastic job keeping up with Bradley Beal. So I can only imagine what he's going to look like 2-3 years from now, in that same way. We just need to go ahead and let Max Christie continue to develop on this team along with several of the other guys that we really, really like. Austin Reeves, how about it, man? He rolled his ankle in this game. We thought we weren't going to see him for a couple weeks. The way that roll looked, the way he was hobbling off the floor, it looked bad. He tried to go back out there, couldn't, and then tried again and then helped us. He got back out there and looked like himself. I don't know how he did it. Kudos to him and the trainers back there for getting him some treatment. But he hit all kinds of shots. He was hitting threes. He was making plays. Of course, rebounding comes with his game. Drawing fouls. He was everywhere. Everywhere. And it's exactly what we needed tonight. Russell Westbrook didn't play much in the fourth quarter. But through 3 quarters, I thought I saw some good stuff from him, especially looking for others, finding guys. I thought his pace in making plays for other people, making plays for the bigs particularly, was really, really solid tonight. And I thought our coach did a good job of kind of getting away from him when it was necessary to do so. Real good management of rotations tonight, I thought. And we had a really good team game, man. 5 guys in double figures with 3 other guys who were a bucket away from being in double figures. That's like basically 8 players in double figures, if you really want to be honest about it. It was just a tremendous team win. The only person who didn't contribute was Thomas. What's our guy's name? The small forward we're shooting out there. My mind is gone blank, but he's gonna have to do more, man. As his name comes to me soon, he's gonna have to do more. Troy Brown. We did not see him score tonight. He didn't score in the last game either. It's just a no-show for Troy, but everybody else, and I do mean everybody else, was accounted for in multiple categories of production, and we just could not have done it without every single body out there. It was an interesting stretch down the stretch of the game. We saw a couple plays that just really went a certain way. Bradley Beal had hit some big shots down the stretch. We had a scrum where Denny Advija was, coming toward LeBron James with like 22 seconds left on the clock. We were trying to figure out if we could run a half-court set, and they brung the double team, him and Kuzma, and LeBron James tried to throw the ball, trying to, split the seams of the defense as they were coming with the double team with a pass, and threw the ball off of the shin of Kyle Kuzma. That ball ricocheted up, and LeBron was able to get that ball off the ricochet. Left us with a live action situation where we were able to find a pass to Thomas Bryant in the paint with a dunk. as I'd say with like maybe 5 seconds left to go or something like that. That ultimately sealed the game for us. So that was one of those sequences that you won't soon forget. Sometimes when things look like they're going to go wrong, it actually shakes things up just fine for you to find yourself in position to succeed. And that's exactly what I saw there. As soon as the ball got live, I was like, oh, we got something. Because if we recover it, now their defense that was set up in that half-court set is now all over the place, and we can just do exactly what we did, which was find an open man. So I was really excited that we were able to succeed in having heads-up plays tonight. I thought guys were really, really good at that. Lonnie Walker bounced back huge tonight. We were seeing him struggle quite a bit in these last couple games. He looked like himself tonight. I think he was the second leading scorer tonight. I think he had like 21 points, bunch of shots that just fell for him. He looked like himself. So welcome back, Lonnie Walker. It seems like all he needed was just to kind of shake off a few of the jitters, get a team like Washington in front of him, and be able to hit his shots again. And we saw that tonight. So what I really enjoyed was what size looks like in purple and gold again, man. For the last 2 years, we haven't had a game like this too often. I think we may have had 5 games like this in the past 2 years where you can honestly say the majority of the game, it was just natural size matchups on the floor available to help. We didn't have too many situations where guys were being shot over, although Bradley Beal will attest to the fact that we did have him being guarded by Dennis Schroeder at one point, and he pointed at the ground showing how short he was. But those are the type of things that we didn't find to happen as much tonight as we have, had happen most of the time, because we usually run with Patrick Beverley and Dennis Schroeder, and Patrick wasn't available tonight, and quite honestly, it was a good thing, man. It was a good thing, because you saw Dennis Schroeder's piece make more sense. With him having bigger guys surrounding him, and him being a traditional point guard, he was able to make plays for guys, and he wasn't required to rebound, he wasn't required to be stay in front of people because there was no brim protection. Stuff like that just was not a problem, and Dennis Schroeder was able to play very well, comfortably in the rotation, and that's what it's about. It's just that whether or not a guy fits on this team. The way that we use Dennis Schroeder, he's just one of 2 little short guys that we cannot use properly. But if he's put into a situation where he's got his stuff that matches his game and he can have size around him and all that other stuff, he's a really good point guard who can really help you. So it's all about how we use players, and we're finding, finally, some synergy in regards to that with our coach. So that's encouraging. We're leaning on the right people for a change. And we're getting the results that I thought we would get. I told us that we should be leaning on Max Christie more. This is what I thought we would see. I thought we should lean on Thomas Bryant more. This is what I thought we would see. Wenyen Gabriel, when he gets back, same thing. Austin Reeves, this is the Austin Reeves I've been waiting to see. I don't know what was going on earlier in the season when he was barely scoring, barely assisting, barely doing anything, but this is Austin Reeves. And that's why I was on his case earlier in the season, as hard as I was, because I know what he can do. I can identify when somebody has very, very high basketball IQ, clutch gene. You know what I mean? Those things, the size to keep up with guys, the skill set to make guys better and find his own shot, to catch and shoot off the dribble. Like, he has a lot of the stuff that you want in most of the players that we're looking for in the lottery. You ain't talking about lottery picks and players you're looking for. You want people who can do the things that Austin can do. So for me, it's like, okay, I understand that. I understand that fully. So it's just about us empowering him to be who he needs to be and continue working on his conditioning. And then from there, him just being who he's going to be. And so I'm super excited about that player. I'm super excited about Max Christie. And I'm glad we were able to see them on the floor tonight. Lonnie Walker, all those guys playing well at the same time, gives me a lot of hope for the Laker future. Because this is all I want to see is homegrown Laker talent, young guys that can run. This is what I wanted last year. So when we were running around with the guys that we had, I wanted this. And so now that we have a little bit of young flavor on this team, I just want to continue to cultivate them and see them succeed. And I don't want us to take backward steps in regards to their development. So this was a very good game in regards to that. If those guys ever struggle, we could show them how they matched up against Washington and how it led to success. Guys played well. Thomas Bryant needs to be given a lot of credit for how much he stepped in since AD went down, and has just been a phenomenal source of inside presence for us, rebounding the ball, dunking the ball, even hitting corner threes consistently tonight. That shot was there. So I was just very pleased with that, man. I just want to see him continue to get minutes. I don't want to ever see us go backwards in regards to not playing him. None of that. He has proven that he should be in regular rotation. In fact, he should start as our starting center from here on out. There should be no other reason until we make trades. There should be no other reason to play him less than the starters minutes after what we've seen these last couple games. So that is important. Let's keep him in rotation, and let's do that with confidence. LeBron James just played a really good floor game, man. I just was really pleased with him. I've been pretty happy with his style of play for the last couple weeks, even though guys haven't really won as much as we like to see us win. I don't think that he's been a big problem for most of that, with the exception of the Boston game and overtime where we saw some things we didn't want to see. It's been a good show for Bron. And tonight I thought he picked his shots about as well as any night I've seen him play this season. You know, he picked his shots carefully. He attacked the defense necessary. He didn't settle for three-point shots at all. We saw him fall on his hip a little bit, and I understand that that's something he wants to avoid, which is why those three-point shots are taken. But at the end of the day, for me, it's like either be willing to drive or be willing to sit, because if we're going to do things that don't work into our favor, it ain't going to amount to you know what. So we don't want that to happen. At the end of the day, I think he did good things tonight. He leaned on his players. We saw guys trust a lot more tonight. And I just thought we saw a good balance, man. I don't want this to come off as it's going to come off. But I just think that when you remove certain pieces that do not fit, other guys fall into place and you see them look better. You know, Patrick Beverley doesn't fit on this roster like he needs to. Not the way that we're asking him to play, and because of it, guys are asked to do other things around him that don't necessarily cater to their strengths or make them their best. They got to sit in certain situations where they should be on the floor. They got to play a certain way so they can make up for his deficiencies or what have you. When it's not present, this is what happens. Guys can just beat themselves. You know what I mean? All that extra defensive stuff that he supposedly gives you may not have been present, but did we still get stops? Absolutely. You know what I mean? And were we able to get some scoring? All the time. You know what I mean? So it was like I saw great defensive sequences tonight. I saw guys boxing out. I saw guys contesting. I saw guys getting out to the three-point line and contesting without fouling. You know what I'm saying? All of that happened without Patrick on the floor. So whatever coach thinks Patrick's bringing defensively that just can't be lived without, let it be known. It wasn't there, and we had stops. Play good team defense. So enough. Play Max Christie in those minutes. I'm happy that we were able to get Scottie Pippen up, you know, get him up on the big team. But if he's not going to get any minutes, I think it's a waste of time. We got to figure this out. If we're going to call players up, let's make sure they're getting minutes. Because Gottie's getting 30 minutes down there in the G League, and you call, you know, they were winning and everything, and you call him up to sit on the bench. No, you did not call him to sit on the bench. You know, so let's try to figure that out. If you're gonna have this dude come up, play him, please. So that's one thing I want to kind of reiterate. We do have a bunch of guards and all that. Obviously, the rotation was a little different tonight. I wasn't upset with the rotations at all, but I really see the fruit in leaving guys where they at if they're succeeding and we can't use them. You know what I mean? So that's just something I'm looking at there. So yeah, man, that's what it was. It wasn't a whole lot to consider in regards to this win, other than just great all-around team basketball play and good rotations, which is something we don't get to say too often, you know. But when you remove that one player that the coach just can't seem to use properly but loves to play, he's forced to do things right. And that's what I mean by disarming people from making decisions that they're prone to make that don't help the team. If there's a player down there who is a player that you need to get rid of because the coach can't use him right, then that's the player to move. You know, and at this point, I'm like, all right, Patrick's the guy to trade, because we can clearly see that we're literally a better team without him. So, I mean, I ain't mad at Patrick, you know what I mean? I still think he's a player that I could put on my team and use properly. But at this roster, the way we utilize what we got, it's just best he's not out there, it seems. It's just best. You know, especially if we're going to use Dennis Schroeder as much as we do. So that's where I'm at. It's just, let's just do what we got to do, move Patrick Beverley, send him back to the Timberwolves, whatever, get us back something. And let's condense this roster to make more sense in terms of these guard rotation. And get us a dang center that can help this center rotation as well. We still must provide more size for ourselves even on top of this. So that's where we're at, man. I think we can weather the storm against teams like Washington. Unfortunately, we've already seen them twice, so we don't get them again. However, we do get a dance with the Phoenix Suns tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. in their arena. where in their last game, Devin Booker went off for 58 points. So you got Bradley Beal one night, you got Devin Booker the next night. You just got to play much better defense against him than you did Bradley tonight. I don't think we did all that we could to keep Bradley off out of the free throw line, out of his spot, especially in that second half. He cooked. Another thing that I noticed tonight was Daniel Gafford. He was missing for the majority of the game, but came back in the fourth quarter and picked up right where he left off against us last time. Hit every single shot. Daniel Gafford is 100% from the field against the Lakers. That's what it is. He hasn't missed a shot in either game. 6 for 6 tonight. So we need to just be aware that certain guys, particularly guys like him, who are very athletic and can dunk everything, that's an area we're going to have to find a way to defend a bit better. Got to get that center who can go down there and try to shake off a guy like him from doing what he does. So that's something we need to pay attention to. And let's weather the storm, man. I think it's going to be tough. You know, we got some tough games ahead. Obviously, as I said, Phoenix coming up, Sacramento, the Beam team in their building. So, you know, they're going to want to light the beam on us without AD. We got to try to play well to beat them. And it's going to be tough. You know, so you got Orlando, who's playing like, you know, red hot. And as I said, teams like Orlando, OKC. These are 3 teams I want Laker fans to pay attention to. Orlando, OKC, and Houston. Because what they are 3 teams with a bunch of lottery picks who can probably upset some of these teams that are better than them because of it. So, like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think you can shoo those teams in to make the playoffs. But if they make the playoffs, do not rule them out to get out of the first round from the 8th spot, from the 7th spot, from the play-in tournament. Do not think for 1 second that they don't have enough talent to match up with just about anybody. Those 3 teams can all probably win the championship within the next 7 years if they keep their core together. That's pretty much what I'm saying to you. That's exactly what I'm saying to you. OKC, Houston, and Orlando. And one of them teams we're going to have to see within the next couple days. Next Tuesday, we got Orlando. And I do not expect for them, with all that size, to be a very good matchup for our team, man. So even though that's a couple games out, that's the game I have circled on our schedule coming up. That it looks very scary for us trying to match up with them without Anthony Davis. In my mind, it's pretty much the biggest team in the NBA. So I'm already looking ahead to them. And so that's what I got to say, man. That's where my head's at. This is not one of those games where I'm thinking too much about it. I'm happy we were able to beat this team. You know, I don't think there was anything to really complain about. The only thing that we didn't really do well was rebound the ball in comparison to them. And we got 42, which is about our average. They had 49, so we want to keep them off the boards a little more. But you look at what Kyle Kuzma did, getting 16 boards, played 40 minutes. Clearly, they were trying to showcase him in this building because they want us to trade for him. So that kind of stuff I just don't pay any attention to. I roll my eyes at stuff like that, to be honest with you. As Bradley Beal been out for 100 years, but he wanted to play in this game. I'm like, yeah, okay, Washington. No, you're not going to get us to give you our 2 picks for these bad contracts or whatever. No, if you want to do a good deal for Kyle Kuzma, maybe throw in Goodwin and Gafford, those are players I want on your team, but you ain't giving me that Bradley Beal contract. And you can't pay me to take that contract. So make that clear. So I already know what Washington's up to. I think like that. I would have played Kyle Kuzma 42 minutes tonight, so don't even try to run that past me. But all in all, they look great out there. I think Porzingis continuing to shoot poorly from behind the arc is a real thing. He hit a couple corner ones, but like I said, you can leave him out there all night. In this era of his career, he is a bad 3-point shooter, and I don't get it. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't get it. Because I scouted him back in the day. I know exactly how well of a 3-point shooter he is naturally. It's just not falling this year. And so, I don't know. It's good to see him healthy. He's healthy. So that's the most important thing with Porzingis. But that 3-point shot, I don't know when it's coming back. But one of these days, a team is going to think that he can't hit the 3 and he's going to string together like 10 of them. Watch. It's coming. But for now, he cannot shoot. And that scouting report remained true. So that's just what we saw tonight. What else, man? Like I said, Goodwin is somebody to want, man. I like that kid, Jordan Goodwin. They played Monte Morris. Monte Morris wasn't doing a whole lot for them tonight, as I usually see. He's a good player, Monte Morris, but I just look at him as a combo guard, shooting guard, probably a 6-man. They got him running as their point guard. That's not the role, man. That's just not his role. He can do it. He can do it well. But I'm not having him run out there every night going up against the elite point guards of this league. Nah, that's not him, dude. He's a combo guy. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with the player. They just need to find him a point guard. And so in my mind, they should probably just start Goodwin. Simply put, sit Monte, start Goodwin, and go to work because he's the future point guard of your team if you don't trade him. I see that already. On both sides of the floor, he's an effective guy. He rebounds the ball as well. So I don't know what they're doing in terms of I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know what they're waiting for. Jordan Goodwin should be their starting point guard from here on out. That's what I think. Corey Kispert, somebody who didn't shoot very well tonight. He's kind of just like Porzingis in a bad stretch for himself. I'm pretty sure the 3-ball will fall again because last time we saw him, he wasn't missing at all. So he's just in a bad stretch. But yeah, I just look at that Washington team. I'm like, man, y'all got assets, bro. The Washington Wizards can get better at any moment. Let me GM their team. I'll make them better overnight. Because they got players, Hachimura, Kispert, Monte Morris, all these guys are good enough. And they can move them for stuff that they can use better. And as far as, they want to move Kyle Kuzma or are open to moving Kyle Kuzma. I'm happy about that as a Laker fan. But if I'm in their position, I don't see any reason to do that. Not me. I'm actually keeping Kyle Kuzma on that team, and I'm trading everything else. And he kind of fits the timeline of what it is that they're doing because he's young. And it's not like, if you're worried about him not re-signing, that's a real thing for sure, but he's flourished there. And so I don't know. I just think that you're looking at a Washington Wizards team who has no real buzz about themselves, but if they would just stop being so dang careful with all of their assets and just like trade a few of them, they can make their team exciting. They can, but they just choose not to. So most of their stuff is wrapped up in stuff that isn't on the floor, and that's why we were able to beat them despite not having Anthony Davis on the floor ourselves. They're average and they want to be, so they're gonna stay that way. I look at that team and I just say, boy, y'all gonna just continue to stay on this long, drawn out average forever type of timeline. Like that's what it looks like. It's always been average and it's always gonna be average because of how Washington tends to operate. So that's kind of what I see there, man. I just think a real good GM could come in and just turn that thing into something entirely different. But for now, they're in no man's land and seem to be okay with it. So I'm happy about it because we were able to get two good victories off of them in a matter of 2 weeks when we really need them. And so that's what it's all about. I don't know that we're going to be able to get a victory tomorrow in Phoenix. So we definitely appreciate when we can take advantage of teams like the Wizards. So that's pretty much it, man. Welcome back, Kuz. You know what I mean? It was good to see him out there playing successful, being himself, showcasing his ability to rebound the ball. And, of course, his three-point shot wasn't falling very much, but his scoring was there. So I'd feel pretty confident about bringing him in. I hope the Lakers can pull off a trade to get Kyle Kuzma at this point, to be honest with you. I still would love to acquire some other people. Y'all know I always have my eye on Kyrie Irving, and the way he's playing right now, I'm warming back up to the idea that we should probably be trying to get him. But if you're the Nets, you're not moving him. So that's pretty much the end of that conversation. But at the end of the day, for me, I just really like what this Laker team did tonight. It ain't about whether or not they had enough. It wasn't about who was healthy, who wasn't, or what, any of that. You just look at the unit, you look at the effort, and they beat who was in front of them. And they did it by shooting well, by playing defense, taking care of the basketball in 9 turnovers tonight, and ultimately just putting themselves in position to do the effort things, getting those extra plays going, making sure that they do everything that they need to do to get out in transition and defense and things of that nature. I thought we were a little better tonight than usual. So, good team win. Look what size can do for us, man. Got to salute Kobe, of course. It's a Kobe minute, but size is what works for our team. Kobe always had his big fellas out there. He always had his role players. This is the type of element. These are the elements of basketball that we need, And so, good win. This is one of the better coach Darvin Ham games as well. I thought he did a really good job tonight with his rotations and ultimately what his game plan was. So everybody did great, man. LeBron James, very happy with him. And Russell Westbrook, the 8 assists. Schroeder, 7 assists. That's the type of stuff I'm looking for out there. Porzingis had a bunch of assists. I thought that was interesting. I think he was a high man for their playmaking. We were looking for us to shut down Monte Morris and Goodwin in terms of their playmaking to keep them from having that type of continuity. It seems like Porzingis was able to kind of get some of that going himself. So I thought that was worth talking about. And yeah, man, I think that's where my head is at. I just love seeing guys really get involved in the scoring, making sure that each and every person accounts for something. We didn't have a centered focus on trying to get one person the ball, which allowed guys to play a bit more free. That's what we've been doing, trying to get the ball to AD and stuff like that. So without him down there for us to kind of second guess and third guess, trying to force ourselves to getting him the ball, I just thought guys were able to kind of do what it is that they do, a little more free to do it. And I thought it made for some good plays, man. Good sequences that didn't require a whole lot of thinking. That was something that I really appreciated. And it was something else I wanted to say. It left me that quick, but all in all, good team win. Really good team win, Los Angeles. And we will weather the storm if we can continue to take every possession as seriously as we did tonight. Gosh, I wish that concept would come back to me. It's something, but the Lakers did a real good job. Love the fact that Austin Reeves was able to see the 3-ball fall tonight, came back from the leg injury. I wish injuries would have popped, back up for everybody in terms of guys being able to walk back in the game and shake it off like it was nothing. But, we're just happy when we see it that way, and hopefully AD can come back healthy, man. We'll anticipate him being out for a month, but from what I understand, it could be a little longer. Could be a lot longer. As a matter of fact, we really don't know. It's indefinite at this point with the target being a month. So it is what it is, man. I don't know that my frustration will be able to strategize the proper way of looking at things. I just think that if you really want to move forward with with AD, you just have to make sure that your team is good enough around him for him to miss a bunch of games. And if not, then keeping him is probably not what's best for you. So that's all it is to that, man. That's all there is to it. So yeah, good team win, good home win. We go back on the road now, so some of these home games, it's us playing Phoenix and Sac on the road, and then we'll come back here for the Christmas game, I think. No, we go to Dallas for a Christmas game, and somewhere in there we see somebody else. It was Orlando that I believe will be coming in here between that Christmas game. I think that's how that goes. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's going to be a good stretch. I think we can win all 4 of these games. Call me crazy, but if we can get Phoenix tomorrow, which is the one that's most improbable. Sacramento's a team that's kind of shaky at times. I trust us if we can do enough to stifle their shooting and guard the perimeter and rebound the ball. I trust us to make things difficult for that team, even though I think they are better than us without AD. Or like I said, Orlando's been playing great. We're gonna have trouble with them. And then Dallas, I don't know what to think of Dallas right now. I haven't seen a whole lot of Dallas, so they're one of those teams that I just have a question mark about. I don't know enough. But I know Kemba Walker's there, and I know he's playing well, so we better keep our eye open for that on Christmas Day. So that's what it is, man. That's what I got to say. I'm dragging this video out for absolutely no reason, but I do appreciate you guys letting me take the time to talk my Lakers with you guys. And of course, that's what I got. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.